Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to become architects of reasoning by laying down the absolute foundations of Usul al-Fiqh, or Islamic jurisprudence. We're going on a fascinating journey to see exactly how rulings are built step by step and discover the precise mechanics that protect classic texts from being misunderstood.
Before we can build our house of legal rulings, we need a blueprint. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the levels of perception, evidence, the definition of Usul al-Fiqh, the categories of taklifi and wadi rulings, and finally, the conditions of validity. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. Levels of perception and knowledge. It is time to calibrate the mind. So, we have to start at the absolute baseline. What even is knowledge? Well, true knowledge is grasping something exactly as it is in reality. And this actually splits into two types. You have necessary knowledge, which is undeniable, like feeling the heat of the sun. You literally don't need proof for that. But then you have acquired knowledge. That's the stuff that requires deep thought, investigation, and solid evidence.
Now consider this stark, fascinating contrast. We have simple ignorance versus compound ignorance. Simple ignorance is essentially just not knowing something. It's an innocent blank slate. But compound ignorance, that is a completely different beast. It's when you are totally wrong, but you firmly believe you're absolutely right. It's literally the most dangerous trap for any student because it completely shuts the door to learning.
And this brings us to the ladder of perception. You see, our minds don't just operate in black and white. It's a sliding scale. At the bottom, we have doubt, an exact 50-50 split where you just don't know. Step up and you get illusion, which is the weaker possibility. Then there's assumption, the stronger possibility. And finally, at the very top, we reach certainty, absolute, definitive proof that settles in the heart.
Section 2. Evidence and deduction, the search for the truth.
So how do we actually climb that ladder to certainty? We use al-dalil, the evidence. I absolutely love the classic metaphor for this. Think of evidence as a highly skilled guide leading a traveler through a massive, trackless desert. Without that guide, you're just wandering aimlessly through the shifting sands of assumption, hoping you don't get lost.
Honestly, without these foundational tools we're discussing, trying to navigate the classical texts of the scholars would be exactly like wandering that desert without a map. Extracting knowledge requires incredibly precise instruments.
Section 3. What is Usul al-Fiqh? Laying out the blueprint of rulings. Now that our minds are fully calibrated, let's define the science itself. Think of it like a giant, sturdy tree. Usul refers to the roots, the deep, unshakable foundations holding everything up. Fiqh represents the branches. Linguistically, it means deep understanding, but technically, it's knowing the practical Sharia rulings through serious intellectual effort. You simply cannot have the branches without the roots.
Let's put it all together into the formal definition of Usul al-Fiqh. It is knowing the aggregate evidence of fiqh, the exact methodology for extracting rulings from that evidence, and understanding the state of the person doing the extracting. It's not just randomly pulling a quote out of context. It is a highly precise, mechanical process of deduction.
Moving on to Section 4, Categories of Taklifi Rulings, How Human Actions Are Evaluated.
This is where the structure gets really beautiful. The scholars laid out a perfectly balanced legal categorization for literally every possible human action. First, you have wajib, or obligatory. You're rewarded for doing it, punished for leaving it. Then mandub, which is recommended. Jump down to muharram, strictly forbidden. Then makruh, which is disliked. And right in the middle, mubah, completely neutral and permissible. It's a flawless symmetry.
Thinking about the tools of classical scholars really makes you appreciate the immense, painstaking effort they put into defining these exact boundaries for us. They did all this heavy lifting to protect us from falling into chaos and confusion.
Section 5. Categories of wadi rulings, the hidden mechanics of the law. If the last rulings were the actions, these are the hidden gears turning behind the scenes. Think of it like driving a car. The cause is the engine starting, like the sun setting, which triggers the prayer. The condition is the steering wheel. Like doing wudu, it has to be there to drive, but it doesn't start the car itself. And the preventer? Those are the absolute brakes. For example, an heir committing murder completely prevents them from inheriting, no matter what else is true.
And our final stop, Section 6, Conditions of Validity and Invalidity, the final verdict. So does an action actually count? A contract or an act of worship only becomes valid, meaning it's sahih and achieves its actual purpose, when two things happen perfectly. 1. Absolutely all mandatory conditions are met. And 2, there's a total absence of preventers. If you miss a condition or hit a preventer, the entire action is void.
It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? If we didn't have this incredibly strict three-dimensional architecture of knowledge, wouldn't people just be able to claim whatever they wanted about the law based on a totally surface-level understanding? Usul al-Fiqh isn't just a set of dry rules. It's the ultimate fortress protecting the texts from chaos. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the depths of knowledge.